everyone, it's Katie and wanted to make a brief video today to talk about the difference between craving for alcohol and habitual drinking when you're following the Sinclair Method. This is a question that comes up a lot and over again as people are progressing on the Sinclair Method path. They've got a couple months under their belt and they're starting to notice that their cravings are decreasing, and they're trying to understand if this urge or desire to drink is coming still from a craving place or it's coming out of habit. This is a great question because it can be really tricky to identify the difference between a craving and a habit, especially early on. So if you're asking yourself this question, way to go. You are starting down the path of really fully extincting this alcohol addiction from your system. So, cravings for alcohol. If you're someone who is on the Sinclair Method, you have more than likely experienced what it's like to have a craving for alcohol. It is this overwhelming need, sensation, desire for a drink that does not leave you alone. As soon as you have the thought of a drink, it's there and the chatter is there until you get a drink. That's why it can be so hard for people who are biologically addicted to and dependent on alcohol to quit alcohol cold turkey, because the cravings are incessant and they're there and they won't leave you alone. Of course, some people are able to give up alcohol even if that chatter is there, and to those people, I have mad respect. So back to understanding whether it's a craving or a habit that you're feeling when you're getting an inclination or desire to drink. So again, that craving feeling, it will not leave you alone. It's like there and screaming at you until you get a drink. Habit is a different thing. So for example, for me, I was always drinking on Friday nights. I was drinking pretty much every single day, but Friday nights were especially a time where I'd drink a lot, party a lot, celebrate the end of the week. So for many months on the Sinclair Method, I was routinely taking the Naltrexone on Fridays with anticipation of drinking that night. But what started happening is right around the time I would take the Naltrexone on Fridays, I started thinking, do I really want to drink? I can't tell if I have a real urge or do I want something else. It's kind of like, I guess I can liken it to when you're trying to decide what to eat for dinner. It's like, what sounds good? Does Thai food? No, maybe pizza sounds better. So that's the only thing I can really compare it to right now. It's like, I don't know, does it really sound good? And it's a really subtle, slight feeling. Of course, if you've had alcohol dependence, drinking has been a part of your life likely for a long time. So it's habit, so it's comfortable. Humans are creatures of habit, so it feels good to stay in that routine. But as soon as you start to feel that moment of inquiry of, do I really want to drink? That's when you can really investigate whether it's a craving or a habit. And if that happens, it could still very much be a craving, and if that's the case, take the Naltrexone, wait an hour and drink. But if it's not, that's when you start to establish and build new habits and break this habit of drinking. Now, I'm not going to say that it's easy to break the habit because, as I said, we're creatures of habit and it can feel really uncomfortable to get out of that cycle. Another instance was I would always day drink on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. And I remember my first weekends after many months on the Sinclair Method, I'd be out at 4 o'clock, going to thrift stores or doing whatever it is I love to do with other sober people, and I'm like, this is weird. It felt weird. It didn't feel natural, but it also felt very empowering, and that's how I started to build in new habits and hobbies. And aside to that too, I get the question a lot, what do you do with your free time? And maybe I'll make another video on this, because so much of us have spent so much of our free time just consuming alcohol. So it's like, what do I do now? One little trick that worked for me was I just reverted back to when I was a kid again and thought about the things I loved to do when I was a kid. Watching movies, having popcorn and candy with movies, again, going to thrift stores, going on walks, riding my bikes, painting, sewing, like all these things. And so that was a way for me to kind of get myself into doing these new habits that didn't feel natural to me, but were things I knew I loved before, so maybe I would love them again. And that allowed me to build myself back up and start to understand what to do with my free time now that I'm not spending it all drinking. And it's just kind of evolved from there, and I've really developed into this whole new person with these whole new lifestyle and hobbies that are healthy hobbies, not drinking. So what to do when you're not sure if it's a craving or a habit? What worked for me and might work for you is just to take some time, whether it can be 5 minutes or an hour or more, is to really sit with yourself and say, do I really want to drink? Ask yourself where that craving is coming from, where that desire is coming from. Is there another need that could be met in that moment in time? For example, and this is an example I've used before, but again, Saturdays and weekends, I was day drinking a lot and just checking out on the weekends. And so I remember one Saturday in particular, I was out on a walk, it was the afternoon, and I had this subtle desire to drink. And I was like, do I want to drink? I couldn't really tell. It was, again, me kind of transitioning into that really distinguishing between craving and habit. And so I sat with myself. I took about a half an hour and I sat and just thinking, what else could sound good right now? And it took a while, but what I realized was I don't want to drink. What I wanted to do was to numb out, was to check out, just to totally relax, not do anything. It had been a busy day at work. I wanted to just, not do anything. And so instead what I did is I went home and watched movies and ate candy, and that met the need that I had previously met with alcohol. So again, just taking that time, whether it's 5 minutes up to an hour or more, just to really sit and say, what else could I do that would meet whatever need this is that's there? And you won't always get an answer right away. Sometimes you'll find it is indeed a craving, and therefore take the naltrexone and drink. I did that plenty of times. But it's just about taking the moment to really stop, ask yourself, and also in your back pocket, having that kind of like list of hobbies or activities that you might want to engage in otherwise that are starting small. Don't, go out, pick up rock climbing right away, or maybe do if that's what you want, but just start small so you're not creating a huge obstacle for yourself, but you can do little other things that don't involve drinking. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please like it below, subscribe for more TSM and other health and wellness videos, and I will see you again soon. Bye!